Hello everybody. All right, so I finished the box. It was actually quite challenging because I'm going back and forth to the video and I'm trying to show you and I keep moving my seat and I'm trying to show you how to measure. So I remained stationary and I did not move and I was drawing the box and I was trying to transfer all my information over, and now it feels like a longer rectangular box, shorter front. And I achieved what I've been trying to achieve. So now I'm going to use my B pencil and just outline the box so you can see it at home. And then after this, I'm going to jump to another object. I recommend not doing the dark lines until you are committed to every single angle and you're happy that the form is where it should be. But I would wait till towards the end of the drawing to do most of your line weight. I'm just trying to show you how this exists here. And there's a transparency, so I just switched my pencil to an HB. It's a little harder. And I'm going to show you the transparent line in the back. So you can kind of see how all this sits on top of that box there. So now it's kind of seated. Okay. Okay, I was just checking my line here. That was a little weird. All right, I'm happy with where that is now. Now I'm gonna move on to something else. I can always come back and clean it up and all that stuff. Don't worry about the like all these accessories, the tape that's around and all the little texture rips of the cardboard. Not important. This thing here, I just want it to form. That's it. So maybe I'll do. And wine glass is hard because it's all the way over here. So maybe I'll just draw the bowl that's there, and I already have a bowl represented here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to make sure I have my rectangle for the bowl established, which I do. And I'm just trying to, I'm going to focus on this now. So I'm going to outline this so I know that this is what I'm drawing. And if it helps to erase, not erase, but lighten the line there, see, which is the edge of the box, even though the bowl's behind it, we're going to draw the bowl as if it's whole, and then we'll move on from there. So I use my HB so you can see what I'm doing, but otherwise I'd use my H. So first I'm going to measure is the mouth above the bowl, the height of it. So it's kind of like right here. I'll measure that bowl. And I'm comparing it to the bowl itself. So from my point of view, the height of the mouth, God, this is so hard to do in reverse. But the height of the mouth right here is equivalent to the other part of the bowl, the side of the bowl. So that tells me it's the halfway point. That's easy. All I have to do is find the halfway point of this rectangle. It looks like there's something already here that's close, but I think this might be the halfway point right here. And again, I'm going to take my piece of paper, whatever I marked. Perfect. So that little mark here is the halfway point. There is a line there, and it's a line for another rectangle that exists there, and it might be the plate. So I'm just going to use my ruler here to draw a line. Okay, so also I'm going to draw is an ellipse right here. Pretty simple. But first I have to define the dividing point this way. I put my ellipse in, and then I need to find how big the ellipse is down here, and all I have to do is connect them right here. A bowl is pretty simple, if you allow it to be. So next thing I'm gonna do, find my halfway point in this direction. So I'm gonna guess and say it's right here. Okay. I'm lucking out with my guesses. Now I need to find, and of course you draw a line all the way down because the other part of the bowl is centered on that same line. The ellipse at the bottom there. So I'm gonna mark what I think my center is. Good. I can't tell you how effective this graph ruler is. Okay, so here's my ellipse, or the template for my ellipse, and that's why you did all those ellipse exercises, so you can just nail this. What I'm going to do, this is a nice little trick, is I'm going to take my board, I'm going to pull this thing up so I can flatten my board down, so what you can't see behind me is I pulled everything flat, and now I'm going to put it right in my lap. Let's try to make sure you can see this. And that way, it's easier for me to draw a lip because it's flat. Or I just put it flat on the table and draw it, but you can't see it in the video, so I'm going to do this. And I'll be honest, this is the fun part of the drawing, when you can draw an easy object and everything starts to kind of make sense. You guys can see what I'm doing, yeah. Okay, I drew my ellipse. I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to get my drawing board back in position. I'm trying to be really quiet because I have a baby sleeping. All right. So in a matter of seconds, I have boom, 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 boom. Well, not seconds, but in a matter of seconds, I have this, which makes this start to feel like it's making sense. And you can see the bowl is behind it, the box appropriately. And now all I have to do is figure out that ellipse at the bottom of the bowl, and I can't see it. It's not easy for me to see. You can kind of see right there that there's an ellipse. It's circular. It meets the plate that's underneath of it, which I'll do after the bowl. So I'm trying to think about the volume, or not the volume, the height of that ellipse, even though I can't see it. But I can see the sides. And if I can see the sides of an ellipse, and I can measure the bottom from the sides, I can kind of get a sense, because I duplicate it, or I double it, that's how tall the ellipse would be. So I'm basically like measuring a little bit here, and I'm trying to get a general sense. So I'm going to do this real quick. So it's probably like that big. Okay, so it's like half. And I compared it to the mouth of the bowl. I don't have to compare it to this guy. Now I'm starting to get some more information, so I compared it to the mouth of the bowl. The height of the ellipse at the bottom was about half the height of the bowl. And you might say, wait, I thought ellipses get bigger as they go down, but this ellipse is smaller in scale, so it's also going to be smaller this way. So all I have to do is just take this measurement here. This is my paper. Take this half-inch measurement, or half of the mouth measurement. I already have the bottom of the bowl. That represents the bottom of the ellipse, and I'm just going to put a mark here. That is the top of the ellipse, and then I just find the halfway point this way and the halfway point vertical. I put my ellipse in, and then I connect my two sides. Bowl done. have to get the width of the ellipse. But that's pretty easy because I can see that. So I'll measure the ellipse the width of the ellipse at the bottom, and I'll compare it to the width of the ellipse at the top because I have that broken down into halves. So it's an easy thing to compare to. And just what I thought, it's exactly half the size of this ellipse. So I just take half of this, or I take a quarter and I put it on both sides of the half. That's easy to do. So I used this, I marked it, and I just, because I took half of this, because it's whole of that, took half of this and I put half on each side of the center line. This little small guy is pretty helpful for this one if you have one. This little section here is basically the ellipse. And go with that being a halfway point. Huh. What the hell's wrong with me? My half guess, I don't think is a good guess. Yeah, it is. Okay. And now I'm putting the halfway point in here, and then I'll show you how I finish the bowl. Again, I'm going to bring the board down. This is faster. You might say, why don't we draw the board down this whole time? No, because it's too flat. You have to have it vertical so you can get the information. Just making sure you can see what I'm doing. All right, so now I'm going to put in my ellipse, which is half the height and half the width of the ellipse at the top. And again, I want you to draw forms as if they're transparent. So see that this goes behind the box. Eventually I'll put the line of the box back in. And then I'll lighten this with my kneaded eraser so it looks like it's behind the form. But for now, I'm just gonna continue drawing the bowl so I can see what the heck I'm doing. Now, I'm just gonna do this without putting this back. Basically, I'm gonna take this, you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to take this edge of the ellipse, which is the center part. I'm going to connect it to the edge of the other ellipse, which is the center part. Okay? The bowl doesn't do that. I'm just giving myself a straight line as a guide. So when I do the curve, and I put the curve in on the other side, I have a line to compare it to. So the distance between the line and the curve is equal on both sides. This is hard to do while I'm balancing the board. Okay, so you can kind of see I put the lines in. We have seen bowls that look like this, but this bowl tends to kind of bow out. And kind of blends in this way too. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a nice curve right here. I'm studying the edge of the bowl and I'm trying to mimic it here. Because this side is rounded, and I brought it right to the ellipse here because the bowl actually kind of goes down a little bit down here. It goes right, it doesn't go underneath the ellipse, it's right to the midpoint, so it's kind of perfect. And if you see this little, I'm just going to fill this in, this little section here, this little negative space between the two, I'm just going to mimic that on the other side. yourself a bowl. And if you need to make, if you feel that it's more curved, then you can pull it out more. Maybe it is more curved. I'll study it again, but it's easy for me to do the same on that side. The reason why I do this is because you want both sides to be symmetrical, and if you just wing it and wing it, it's never going to be right. So draw the straight line and then use it as a guide, always. Easy. Okay. So now I have my bowl in, but remember I pulled this side out. Now I'm just going to really study that bowl. I guess it does come out more. So I kind of like this side here. So I'm going to pull this side out even more. But it's easy for me to pull one side because I'm just making baby steps. I'm just pulling this out a little bit more, pulling the line. And then from there, I can erase the other lines that I tried with. Let's see what I got. All right, I have my bowl. Now one last thing I'm gonna show you real quick. Because the box is in front of the bowl, so the box should, it looks like right now the bowl's in front of the box, so I'm gonna flip them. So I'm going to lighten the lines of the bowl and put, of course, using my B pencil, put the box back in. And that's what I mean by transparency. See how the bowl itself is going to be dark. Eventually you're going to put line weight on, but right now I'm just kind of showing you in advance. And now the bowl is behind the form. You can't draw a portion of the ellipse. It's never going to work out. You have to draw the entire ellipse and then erase the back. And plus I want you to show me transparency of it, so you understand how this form exists in space as it goes back in space. So that seems to work so far. The one issue I might have is that when I put the plate in, it's going to run into this box. That being said, I might have to adjust the length of the box. That's where things are going to get a little tricky because otherwise they can't overlap. But for now, I'm leaving it. All right.